let's talk TikTok. So what are some of your thoughts on the short term, near term for TikTok, both organic and on the ad side?
I love that. I think it's a really interesting place. What I can say with TikTok and with Facebook, YouTube, any optimized CPM platform, I want to set the table here real quick. And remember that ads are nothing other than organic content that you pay for people to see, and they
Hmm.
run on the same algorithm. So if something does well organically at earning attention, it will almost assuredly do well as paid media at earning attention. Now, whether or not that attention that you earn is monetizable is something completely different. But with that being said, TikTok is the most aggressive content suggestion engine we've ever seen.
And
And if
what
you
do you
use
mean by that? What does
TikTok,
that mean? It's the most aggressive content suggestion engine.
yeah, so if you were to use TikTok for an hour or two and just swipe on things you don't like and like the things that you do, you're going to only have a feed full of things that you enjoy. And you can program TikToks. Like I've done it once where I was working with a business, and what we did is we made a dummy TikTok account and we only went through all of their competitors and liked and watched all the videos of all their competitors. Now, whenever they open up TikTok, it's merely just an inspiration machine. And so the point of that is it's extraordinarily personalized. It knows what you're watching and wants to show you more content like that with a million different data points that they're looking at. And I think that that is something that no other platform can do because it's not really in the nature of that platform to do it. YouTube rabbit holes, we all know about that. It works on a slightly different thing. YouTube rabbit holes is more about the topic of the conversation than maybe the style of the delivery, right? The keywords and all of that stuff, which is great. And then in Facebook, they show you content based on what you like to see, based on all the websites you've been to and all the places that you've been and where you spent money that time of year or what you're in the market for. TikTok is very much about like, this is what gets somebody to spend 5 seconds of their eyeball here. We're going to give you that as much as possible. And with that in mind, I don't think any other platform will be fundamentally able to make TikTok obsolete because it would be out of their core user experience to do so. I think that probably the closest we will get is Instagram Reels or maybe even Facebook Reels that are inside the app because those don't have an identity as much yet other than trying to be TikTok.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
when it comes to TikTok ads, I think that if you hit on creative that does well, you can do exceptionally well with it. There is a huge issue with TikTok or a difference between TikTok and Facebook. There are two huge differences. Number one, a good Facebook ad can run for years. Anybody that insists that ad fatigue is real, that's misinformation. I've had ads that have run for 2, 3, 4 years. I have ads that I built 4 or 5 years ago that every now and again I still see in my feed.
Yeah.
Like that stuff happens. The half-life, the longevity of a Facebook ad is basically forever. And same with YouTube.
Same with
TikTok,
YouTube. Yeah, the same. We've got YouTube ads we've run for years and spent millions of dollars on the same
yeah.
ad and just keeps cranking.
Like my buddy Sean Cannell from Think Media, he's got like an affiliate video of like Father's Day gifts. And every year in June, he gets, an extra couple million views and a big check. Like it just happens like clockwork. He made that thing in like 2013 or something like that. It just happens. It's evergreen.
Yeah.
TikTok though, maybe 2 weeks. That's however long it'll work. Because TikTok is also part of that suggestion engine is also new. The aspect of new as a value point is extremely high. Now you could maybe run something again in a couple of months and it'll work great, but it means that the churn rate of content is massive. And that churn rate has far more to do with time than with money. That ad might last for 2 weeks if you're spending $50 a day. It might last for 2 weeks if you're spending $20,000 a day. So there's a big issue there. and being able to consistently deliver that quality of content that's monetizable. And the other side of TikTok ads is it'll never be as smart as Facebook, Google, or Facebook or Google. And it has far more to do with the fact that Facebook and Google have a leg up of over a decade of communication and location and transactional data. So
Yep.
I think there are places where businesses can leverage TikTok as their unfair advantage in the marketplace to scale. I think ultimately, though, there are few scenarios where TikTok is an evergreen, isolated growth and acquisition channel at scale.
Yeah.
It just won't work because
Totally makes sense.
other places are better at acquiring cash flow in a more stable fashion. So it's just too hyperbolic and honestly just not smart enough. And it can never catch up because as fast as it gets better, everything else is getting better faster.
Right. Totally makes sense. Love it. We could drill into that too, but we're running out of time. So I want to transition and talk AI for just a minute. So how are you using Chat GPT or other AI to help give you superpowers or give you an edge or help make your marketing better?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Chat GPT is the latest version of the AI. And to be fair, I've been using Facebook's version of that for years. It's called Dynamic Creative. And I don't spend a single penny on Facebook without having ads tested and proven and created through Dynamic Creative, which is Facebook's version of Chat GPT. And so that's a superpower in that I literally will only ever test in that environment. I never have a single account with a single penny spent on anything that's not developed that way. And for Facebook, I use something called the 3-2-2 method, which is 3 creatives, 2 headlines, 2 sets of copy. And we could dive into that forever. But the point of it is that's giving the AI the best opportunity to create the best user experience so that ultimately I'm buying the lowest priced attention for the highest quality user and targeting the individuals in the most sustainable way to attract the most consistent type of attention. And from then, it's my business model that monetizes it. Using tools like ChatGPT to handle the copy side of things, I think is something a lot of people are using. As a very light end, I'm using ChatGPT to develop YouTube titles and email headlines, right? To see what gets good open rates and checking against vidIQ keyword scores. And to be fair, those are also really, really great for my Facebook ads. If this gets a lot of clicks on YouTube and a great email open rate, well, you better believe when I've dropped that on a Facebook ad, it's going to crush.
Absolutely.
I think it's also really important to use ChatGPT though as a way of understanding how consumers behave. So you can put in there like, give me 50 reasons why somebody has this pain point. And use that to understand concepts in market research. My friend Sarah Levinger has a great way that she's using ChatGPT to effectively extract psychological data points on users. And using that as a tool to
something like that, like
yeah. So what she's doing is she's taking in, for instance, say all the comments from a Facebook, from an Instagram, say an Instagram post went viral and it's got 30,000 comments. We can grab all of those comments and all of those words that are being used and throw it into ChatGPT. One of the things that I love to do is say, hey, tell me the 10 most important things in this 5,000 word article or something like that, 5,000 character piece. And it'll break it down for you. And if you want to do that in even a more really actionable way is say you've got a 30-minute YouTube video. Get yourself a transcription of it, drop into ChatGPT and tell me what are the 10 most important things mentioned here. And then you can literally ask it to tell me more about line item 3, 4, and 5. And then boom, you got a 5,000 word description and mini ebook done like that. And it takes no time at all. The point is you can use all of these things to understand what's going on. What I will say is what it does that I'm very bullish on and I'm a huge fan of is that it can do the collation of data and the sorting of data at scale in a way that tremendously saves you time. ultimately you're still going to have to qualify and use insight to appropriately take what it's giving you and take action on it. Like people know when they're reading something written by AI. I wouldn't use it as I don't think it's the best for SEO. I'm just blasting out blog pages, but it can give you a great insight to be a way to inspire your thought process and to also take huge sums of data and make it very simple to read. And I think that's, at least in the way that I'm using it right now, some of the most powerful things. And Sarah Levinger, if you don't know her, you should absolutely check her out. She's a stud. She's the best at consumer psychology, and that's one of the things that she's doing a lot of. And I was really inspired by her with that. But just the idea of using AI to take insight from the written word is tremendous, and to also inspire different ways of thinking in a way that gets you out of your own head. I think those are some of the most important things that you can use it for.
And I think it really comes down to a lot of what you described comes down to two things, right? Asking the AI better questions, right? You only get good results if you ask good questions. And if you give it good data, like, hey, look at all these comments, tell me the top 10 takeaways. But then being able to quantify and qualify and say, yeah, but it's really these things, right? Or this doesn't really make sense, but this does. So, I love it, man. I'm super excited. We're using it as a team and really just playing around with it. I think that's a key too. Just play around with it and see what you learn, and new ideas will be sparked as you go. So let's do this, Charles. I know we got a hard stop in just a couple minutes. I know you're very active on TikTok. You're a great follow on TikTok. Good follow on Twitter, LinkedIn. Where can people connect with you, and then out on the socials, and then talk about how they can connect with you at Disruptor School?
Yeah, so I'm at CT the Disruptor on all socials, and at Disruptor School on all socials. And you can go to disruptorschool.com to check it out. If you are on a social media account where you're not seeing me, let me know, and I'll make sure to add it into the flywheel. But I'm literally everywhere all day, all the time, which is sort of my unfair advantage. I love making content and talking to people. I think my wife would wish I put my phone away a little bit more, but hey, look, that's my life. These are the problems that I have.
Dude, you're very good at content.
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Well, I was going to say, I think there's a bit of a delay as we're recording this. We'll get that cleaned up in the edit. But speaking of TikTok being aggressive, you're a great follow on TikTok. I'm not an avid TikTok user, so I'll just put that disclaimer out there. But I have been trying to use it a little bit more lately. And for whatever reason, TikTok thinks that I love Charles Tichenor because I see you all of the time on TikTok, which is actually great.
Well, thank you so much, man. It's nice to know where those 200 views are coming from. It's just Brett all day long.
It's all me. You're welcome.
I love it. I'll take it.
That's awesome, man. So I'll link to everything. I'll link to your socials. We'll link to the Disruptor School. So definitely check it out. And Charles Tichenor, ladies and gentlemen, man, you crushed it. Thank you so much. I can't wait to schedule another one because there were so many things that we didn't dive into that we need to. So round 2 is coming, buddy.
I would love it. And anybody watching this and listening, anybody listening to this, if you have questions on any of this stuff, write back to Brett, and maybe we can just do another, maybe a mailbag show, something, dive in deep. We went an inch deep, a mile wide today. Let's go a mile deep and just make it really fun.
Do a little Ask Me Anything. Yeah, fire those questions away, send them my way, and then we can get Charles back in for round 2. Charles, thanks, buddy. I know you got to split, but really appreciate the time. Ton of fun, man.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
And as always, thank you for tuning in. Let us know what you'd like to hear more of or less of on the show. And yes, if you got questions for Charles, fire them my way or connect with him on the socials. And with that, until next time, thank you for listening.